I've got a Fluke 91 Scopemeter, Series 2, 50 megahertz, and I've got a problem with some of the keys not working. These ones here, these four. This one works. That one. All the rest of them seem to work, but that one works, but none of these four. So what I suspect is that the membrane down below the keys is broken. So I'll have to take it apart to see what's going on there. The first thing I'm going to do is to remove the power. And next thing we'll do is turn it over and remove the battery compartment. See if we can get this in here. So we'll loosen those off. Most of the screws in here are Torx 10. So these are loose, and I'll take that battery door off. So now this battery door, just put a screwdriver in it and just gently pry it open after you've removed the screws. Now that battery door, put it aside. Now here is the battery. It lifts out like this, should lift pretty easily. There we are. And just put that away. And we've got two screws in there, right there and right there, and those are also Torx 10 bits. So we'll take them out, and then we'll see what else needs to be done to open up the box. There's an end cap there with two more screws. There you can see another number 10 Torx, and there's a number 10 Torx in there. So I'll remove that end cap. So now the end cap is off, and the two pieces of the meter should just come apart. And you've got the inside there, and you got a ribbon cable. Now, when you turn it over, be very careful that the screws don't pop out and you lose them. The two screws in the battery compartment right there. So be very careful when you're putting the back on and bending it over, so you don't lose those screws. Here's what the inside of the Scopemeter looks like. You see all the processor chips there, and you got a little battery in there. That's for the memory. So here we have four screws. Those two down at the bottom are Phillips, and we've got two screws that are on spacers, and those are number 10 Torx again. So we'll take those all off, and then that board should come out quite easily. That ribbon cable, it's optional to take it out. It's quite hard to put back in again, so I'm just going to gently take that board out, and I'll leave that ribbon cable in. Now that I've taken out the screws, the circuit board should just gently turn over, and there is the bottom of the keypads, and here is the membrane. And what happens when you press a button? These are the four top ones that are not functional. This is a graphite pad, and it touches these graphite pads, which are then all joined together. So when you press a key, you're joining a whole lot together, and basically you're switching in, looks like maybe three together. But anyway, it connects all these together on a matrix. And what I suspect visually inspecting it, I can't see the break in there somewhere. It's just from constant wear and tear. This is 30 years old, so you have to expect that sort of thing. So I have ordered another one of these membranes, and when it comes in, I will continue and I will repair this meter. Now I'm going to remove the old membrane, and it's quite simple. All that I have to do is disconnect the ribbon cable. And how you do that is you take a very small screwdriver and just push that there, and push this. Kind of hard to film it, but just push that like that, and then push this side like that, and then just detach the old ribbon cable. And then to put in the new one, you just stick the ribbon in there and push those down again. So I'll do that, and we'll try it out. Now I've put the ribbon back in there. One thing you have to note is that the two tabs, you push down one side and the other might pop up. So you have to do one side and then the other. So anyway, those tabs are in okay. And I'll just put the circuit board back down and put it back together. When you install the two Phillips screws on the bottom, just loosely put them in, and then install the two Torx screws in. And then once you have everything aligned, don't force them in because you're putting pressure on the membrane. So then tighten them all uniformly, and make sure that there's no resistance. If you feel any resistance, the membrane isn't in properly. So be very careful putting that membrane in. Make sure it goes in and it's straight. Just put the two halves of the meter together without putting the top piece on, and power it up to see that everything works. So let's see. That works. There. Make sure all the functions. These seem to all work. So now I'll just power down and put it all back together again, which is exactly the reverse of opening it up. I put the top cap on and I tightened it down without it being too tight. And there's one thing I want to address here, and that is right here we have, in the battery compartment, we have some corrosion here, right here. My plan is to order a new battery for this and get them on eBay. So I'm going to have to scrape that corrosion off before I put it back together again. But I'm happy it does work. Everything works fine. So I'll just remove that battery corrosion with some a file, and then I'll order a new battery for it. Here is a bunch of buildup, leakage from the battery, so I'm going to have to clean that off with a file. So we'll make a better connection there. Actually, I found taking a piece of steel wool to it is much more effective because it's just surface junk that's on it. So I'll clean off all these terminals with some steel wool, and then I will wipe it off with a cloth. One thing about when you use steel wool, you want to get off all the particular little bits that have fallen off. So you take a magnet and take a little magnet like this one here. So just shove this here, and just go around, and it'll attract all the bits that have fallen down. Then you don't have to worry about shorting out little bits of iron. I'm going to take a little bit of steel wool to all parts of the battery too, because if I recall, this battery was accepting a charge not that long ago. So I'll give it a try. I'll see if I can charge it up at least partly. Here I've cleaned out the battery terminals and the battery, and they all look clean. Now I'm going to, you have to put this battery in a special way. Down at the bottom there, you got that tab. That goes to the tab down there. It touches on that tab down there. So it goes in like that. Only then will it work. So I'm going to put the battery door on and charge it up and see what happens. Or try and charge it up. One thing I noticed after I put the battery in and I plugged the charger in, the meter won't go on. So it's obvious that the battery either has a short in it or has to charge for a while before the meter will power up. So I'll just leave it on for an hour or so and see what happens. I found the battery when it's in shorts out or causes the meter to shut off, so I had to take it out, but it runs fine on the power supply. So here I'm putting in a signal of 1 megahertz, or it says 9.9999, so hertz off. But anyway, it measures displays of frequency all the way up to 50 megahertz if you want, and I'll do a couple of other measurements here. The voltage measurements are taken through the coaxial cable, and for millivolts, you take it in through the probes, and also you use the probes for resistance and things like that. So I'm going to measure resistance. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take it out of, we'll hit more measure, and it's in the diode. So I just hit this one over here, select item, change to ohm mode now, yes, and now it's in ohms. I'm just using alligator clips for convenience, but there it's measuring a 100 ohm resistor and 99.6. So in order to measure voltage on here I've got some probes hooked up to a coaxial cable connector, BNC. So if I want to go into voltage mode, I just hit that. Then it says volts DC, volt RMS AC, volt RMS AC plus DC. I'm just going to leave it in volts DC. And then I hit select item and change to meter mode. Yes. So it should measure volts now. One thing I don't like about using the coaxial connector, you have to change the ratio. It's saying, I'm measuring a 9-volt battery and it's saying 89.4 volts DC. So I'm going to have to go into the menu and change it from a 10:1 ratio to 1:1. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to go and hit input A, and then it takes me to, let's see here, hit a input A, coupling, AC/DC. So it's in DC coupling, probe A menu, hit that, and that gives me, it says probe on input A 10:1. So what I want to do is, I want to change that. So let's see here. Select item and move down, go up to 1.1:1, then hit select item. Select item. Okay, it's in 1:1. So, okay, so select item again, and then close, and then hit auto set, and then I should be able to, it should go to voltage I want. There we are, 8.95 volts DC. And so it's working fine in resistance displays and showing me DC. This is the low end of all the scope meters of that time, but it does have a lot of features. I've got a 96 series 2, and that has dual channels, and it's got you can actually use it with the meter leads. You can measure voltage with it, so that's a bit more convenient. But this one's a good one. It's useful, and I'm glad it's working again.